But we begin with our top story this morning, President Trump's first week in office, and it was jam-packed with presidential actions. Mr. Trump signed 15 executive orders and actions. The most controversial was signed last night. The order suspends all refugees from entering the U.S. while the administration tightens the screening process for refugees, especially those from Muslim countries.
The aim is to limit the rise of Islamic extremism, but the order is causing widespread outrage from humanitarian organizations to Democratic members of Congress. Minority Leader Senator Chuck Schumer tweeted last night, "There are tears running down the cheeks of the Statue of Liberty tonight." Errol Barnett is in our Washington bureau with more on this story. Errol, good morning.
Good morning. In response to President Trump's latest executive action, the UN Refugee Agency and International Organization for Migration issued a joint statement calling for equal treatment of immigrants regardless of nationality. While Mr. Trump's move may be alarming to many, he is fulfilling a key campaign promise. In his first visit to the Pentagon as Commander-in-Chief, President Trump announced and signed 2 executive actions.
We want to ensure that we are not admitting into our country the very threats our soldiers are fighting overseas.
One action will suspend immigration from specific countries to prevent the entrance of Islamic terrorists and implement what he calls extreme vetting of immigrants.
I'm establishing new vetting measures to keep radical Islamic terrorists out of the United States of America. We don't want them here.
The order puts a 120-day hold on all refugees settling in the U.S., a 90-day halt on entry of visitors from countries of concern like Iraq and Syria, and blocks all Syrian refugees indefinitely. In a television interview, President Trump said he'll prioritize, quote, persecuted Christians.
They've been horribly treated. Do you know, if you were a Christian in Syria, it was impossible, at least very tough to get into the United States. If you were a Muslim, you could come in.
Well, thank you, Mr. President.
Earlier at the White House, President Trump hosted his first foreign leader, British Prime Minister Theresa May.
I think the Prime Minister, first of all, has other things that she's much more worried about than Mexico and the United States relationship.
In a joint press conference, Mr. Trump was asked about his hour-long phone call with Mexican President Enrique Peña Nieto.
It was a very friendly call.
The two have been publicly feuding over who will pay for the proposed wall along the U.S.-Mexico border.
We are going to renegotiate our trade deals, and we're going to renegotiate other aspects of our relationship with Mexico. And in the end, I think it'll be good for both countries.
The president was also asked about his apparent desire to develop a close relationship with Russian President Vladimir Putin.
Putin and Russia, I don't say good, bad, or indifferent. I don't know the gentleman. I hope we have a fantastic relationship.
Pressed about keeping in place sanctions against Russia, Mr. Trump said he hasn't decided yet.
As far as the sanctions, very early to be talking about that. But we look to have a great relationship with all countries, ideally. That won't necessarily happen.
Now, later today, President Trump will have a phone call with President Putin for the first time since election night. He will also speak with leaders from Japan, Germany, France and Australia before signing more executive orders, the content of which is still unknown. Alex?
Errol Barnett in Washington, thank you.